Welcome to Demasked. My name is Fresman, and today I'm joined by TDN. How are you today?
I am great. As good as I can be, I suppose.
Well, we've been trying to put this together for a little bit.
Probably like almost a year at least.
Yeah. Well,
Something like that.
well,
Whenever we got drunk, whenever I got drunk on Red Dead that night, that's when we were talking about it.
Dude, that was so for the party people. So for the party people at home, there was a night where me and TDN played some Red Dead Online, and on my end it was the spookiest fucking thing. because we started fist fighting entire towns, and there was a point where I lost track of you. You disappeared.
I lost track of me, dog. I lost track of me. I had to ask you the next day what I said, because I don't. The last thing I remember was us. There was a mission we were doing, and there was like a scorched field, and we were fighting people on that scorched field. And the last thing I remember is instead of hiding behind something and shooting them, I ran across no man's land and just got shot like 50,000 times over and over and over. I just kept doing it, and that's all I remember. That's the last thing I remember.
Well,
I blacked out.
There was a moment toward the end of the night where we both rode into Saint Denis, but somehow like we rode in at the same time, like right next to each other. But you just fucking vanished into the city. And it turned into a horror movie. Like I'm wandering around the town, and it's the middle of the night, and it's like foggy out, and I'm like, where the hell did he go? And I can hear like something happening up the road. It's not gunfire, just something like hitting.
I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, and I'm walking up the road, like just like gun in hand, trying to figure out if I should be fighting something. I keep finding like dead bodies strewn around.
I think there was a period where I was just running around a town and murdering people constantly. There was no breaks in between, and no cops could stop me.
Well, what town was it that we took over? It was a Tumbleweed, wasn't it?
It was either Tumbleweed or Armadillo.
Like I know we started in Armadillo, but
it was a very small town.
Yeah, but
it was a very small town.
Well, like we started in Armadillo, and we're like, well, if we're fast enough, they can't stop us.
We worked our way up to like Rhodes.
Yeah,
which was like a pretty hard town to beat because there's people everywhere.
And then I think we were in Strawberry for like a minute, and they're like, well, there's way too many.
Yeah, Strawberry was too hard. We were like, we could probably do it in Saint Denis was easy compared to fucking everything else. I was surprised.
Well, because
I thought Saint Denis easily we would have gotten caught like in 5 seconds.
Well, Saint Denis, there's thousands of places to disappear to.
That's true.
Like I just climb up on the roof.
Cops. But we found a strategy against the cops. If you just run at them with your fists, they can't stop you.
Oh yeah. That's
most things in the game. If you just stop using a gun, you can probably beat the game in like 2 seconds. We found that out. Like the combat system with just your hands is so overpowered. Nobody can stop you.
Now I'm starting to think, can you beat Red Dead with your fists only?
Probably. I was very surprised we got as far as we did without dying.
I just have this image in my head of like you're holding up the train with Dutch and all them. Everybody's got.
God damn it, Dutch! I can't use a gun.
Everybody's got rifles and revolvers, and you just fists up.
Arthur, what are you doing? God damn it, Dutch! I'm gonna use my fist.
Guns are a coward's game. There's always a gun, Dutch.
They got this gun and this gun. Let's go.
These pythons are sick.
We haven't. I don't think we played a game since then. That was a while ago.
I think, if I remember, we did GTA 5 like once.
Yeah,
after
we were supposed to get on with Lady, and then I don't think she showed. I think she had to do something.
But
like, fuck it, the group's over. We're done. I'm not playing games anymore.
Well, then
I got banned from GTA.
You got banned?
I got banned and my account got wiped.
How did you manage that?
Because I bought money.
Because you bought money?
I bought fucking in-game cash like from like a web I think it was like it's called player auctions. They handle shit for like pretty much any game that's online you can buy shit for.
Yeah.
A lot of games just let it happen. GTA just did not let it happen.
Well, like I figured out a real easy way to make at least a couple thousand is just start stealing random cars until a bounty gets pulled on you.
No, this was like I bought like $400 million.
Holy fuck.
I bought every car I wanted. I bought one of those fucking maze towers with like the 7-layer garage. Yeah, it lasted for about a month, and then they were like, "Yeah, you're not getting away with this." So okay.
Mr. Rockstar Games himself was like, "Look, man."
And then I started hacking in Red Dead because it just got really boring. They don't care about that game. That game died, so they don't care that I'm doing it. Everybody does it now.
Oh God. Well, so real quick in the spirit of an interview for the uninitiated, what does TDN stand for?
It currently it stands for nothing, but originally it standed for the Dark Narrator, which is what I went by when I first started narrating, which is how I got my start in the community. Sorry.
And for your channel, is that where it originated, was narrations, or did you start on something else and then sort of move into it?
Well, I've been doing YouTube on and off for the past over a decade. Just trying stuff out, bunch of other channels before the Dark Narrator even started, gaming and stuff. But the one thing I found when I was doing the gaming stuff is I would occasionally, back then, Mr. Creepypasta and and Sog, Some Ordinary Gamers, were the only two people I knew of doing creepypastas back in like 2011, 2012. So I was like, I want to do that. So I did really shitty ones, and I put it in between my gaming videos, and I found I enjoyed those more, but I didn't figure that out until like 8 years later. So I tried a bunch of stuff that never worked.
Well, I'm looking at your most recent video, the short horror skit Mimic.
Yeah, it's a love child right there. I'm very proud of that.
Is that your first sort of directorial debut, or have you made other ones before?
Yeah, I guess that would be it. Like as like short horror skits go. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I did like a Gmod skit back in the day, and I like wrote a script for it and directed it. And there was also this like whole like 5-episode Slenderman thing I did with me and my friends back in high school, but only one video got uploaded, and it was the last one, like the final part. I don't know why we didn't upload the rest of them. But that's floating around somewhere on somebody's old phone in like a drawer somewhere. I wish I could see them because I don't remember any of it. I remember there was a bit where we had my friend standing in the woods, and he was supposed to be like our Slender Man, but all we had was him turning around a hoodie and flipping the hood over his face. So we put him in the woods, and every time we would turn on the light, we would see him come out behind a tree. Like, that's all we had. We were fucking stupid, but yeah. As far as like actual directorial stuff, like that's the only thing I've ever actually taken seriously. Like, I wanted to make something that I was proud of.
Nice. And do you plan on making more in the future, or is this sort of a one and done?
Mimic Part 2 should be coming out in March or April.
Nice.
We're working pretty hard on a longer script. Should be about 20 minutes of actual video instead of like 4 or 5. We got my manager who does my music videos to actually film it with his like DSLRs, so higher quality stuff. We're gonna have still shots with like tripods and stuff. My friend is gonna be the lead, because I don't know if anybody actually who's listening watched it. Obviously, I'm not alive. Spoiler alert. But at the end of it, did I spoil it for you?
Oh,
I'm assuming you did your research and you watched it before you asked that question.
I was staring at it. I'm like, I'm gonna watch it after this interview, but damn it, now I know how it ends.
I mean, it's a short horror skit. It's like Alter. Everybody dies.
Yeah.
Like everybody dies all the time. But that's the thing is I don't know if my friend is gonna die. I'm not gonna say, but I actually don't know. Like I maybe I'll let him live and it'll be like a bigger thing. I'm thinking Mimic is gonna be sort of like an SCP style thing gotten loose.
Okay, yeah.
It's gonna bleed because SCP is free range. You can basically attach anything to it. So I could put at the end of the thing that it was an SCP thing that was recovered.
There you go.
So yeah, we're oh, and we also got a friend of mine is gonna be actually doing like proper visual effects to it. So you might see me as an actual demon next time.
That'll be sick. Awesome.
Or whatever this thing is. I don't really know what the Mimic is per se, but
that's fair.
I'd say it's a demon.
So where did the writing process for Mimic start? Was it just sort of an idea that you had for a long while and finally got the means to build it up, or was it something you just had on the spot and put together?
2 nights before the video was filmed is when it was conceived. Because so the funniest part about Mimic is that most of it takes place in a bathroom. And that's where the idea was conceived. So that's why it takes place in there, is because the idea for it came from while I was actually on the toilet watching TikTok, which is a main plot point of the actual video. And I just thought it would be really creepy. I don't know why I always get my best ideas on the toilet. I think a lot of people do. My best lyrics for my songs come from the toilet. So I'm just sitting there 2 nights before we were doing the video, and I was like, what if it would be really fucking creepy if I heard my own voice right now? You know, like you heard someone in your house, but it was your own voice, and it repeated what you were saying. Like if you were laughing at a TikTok and that same laugh was repeated back to you, but somewhere else in your house.
Well,
like that would be terrifying.
Like I'm picturing it in my head, and that is really when you're at your most vulnerable right there, is just sitting on the toilet.
It's the last thing you expect as well. Like not only are you not expecting someone to be in your house, but now it's not just someone, it's something. It sounds exactly like you. It's repeating you.
Oh God.
Like yeah, so it's like your worst fear of someone breaking into your house while you're completely vulnerable. But now it's something entirely different. It's a level above just someone breaking in you'd prefer just a random intruder at this point.
Would rather it be some guy in a ski mask than
dude, from what happens in the video, like I would prefer just someone to come in and shoot me at that point. I would not want that to happen to me. Like what is it like being taken by that thing? What does it do to you?
Now I have to go break the news to my girlfriend that I'm going to have to start shitting with the door open.
Or just put a gun in there.
Yeah, there you go.
That was the first thing I thought of after I filmed Mimic. I'm like, if this shit ever happens, I got to make sure I got a gun in my bathroom. It's fucking like the Kevin Hart skit. Gun compartment.
I'm going to affix my revolver holster to the side of my toilet.
Oh, you're trying to get me? Well, I'm taking a shit in my own bathroom? All right, I'm going to give you what you want.
Yeehaw.
Gun compartment. Just let me wipe my ass one last time. Gun compartment.
I'll have to have it on the side of the bowl so I can quick draw.
It gets stuck in the fucking leather. You're like, shit.
Oh. Or I didn't even load it. Just click, click, click. Oh.
Oh, man. This is my Russian roulette revolver.
Hold on. Spin. Click. Damn it. Spin. Click.
Give me 1 second.
Just give me a goddamn second.
But yeah, I think Mimic brought out something in me that I wasn't... I mean, I was super aware of at, like, always that I wanted to be doing film and acting. I've always wanted to be an actor. And obviously, I have no way of actually making it onto the Hollywood scene. I mean, I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere. There's really nowhere I could go to do it. At this, for people like me, the only place is YouTube, and the only thing you could do is hope that the people around you will, help you out.
Yeah.
I mean, it was complete. I paid my friend in food for actually filming the thing.
Well, it seems like nowadays with, sort of the indie scene in horror is that you start on YouTube and then somebody from already over in Hollywood notices you and then calls you.
Yeah, that could totally be it. Like, there's been people. I mean, case in point, Corridor Crew is a massive like juggernaut on the YouTube scene when it comes to VFX and film, and they started in their fucking garages, and so did Freddie W, who owns Rocket Jump. I mean, they've been making shit out of their basements for years, and now Rocket Jump they do stuff for Hulu. They make shows for Hulu, and they work on VFX for Netflix and stuff like that. And so does, Corridor Crew just got a job doing VFX for I don't remember his name. He's a martial artist. He's like a British martial artist. I love this guy too, and I can't remember his name.
Scott Adkins.
But he was Scott Adkins. Yes. Oh my God, he knows. Yes.
I was saying, like, the Rolodex is firing up. It's somewhere in there.
Yeah, Scott Adkins is a beast, and he was on Corridor's reaction thing once, and they became friends, and just because of that, he reached out and was like, hey, we need something we don't know how to accomplish. Do you have anything? And they made it. Like, those are YouTubers. All in all, like, they are very talented, but they are YouTubers.
Yeah, at the core.
So, like, the fact that they can break into that scene is awesome.
Well, that and what was the name? It wasn't... If I remember, the creator of the Backrooms is getting a show, isn't he?
Kane Pixels, yeah.
Yep.
Kane Pixels is not only getting a movie produced by A24, which is huge in itself. It's backed by A24, and it is executive produced by James Wan and fucking oh my God, it's gonna leave me. Who's the fucking director for Stranger Things?
Oh God, the something brothers.
No. Those are the writers. I'm talking about the director, the guy who did Free Guy and Stranger Things.
Ah, crap.
I literally put it in this Discord. Oh shit, I'm losing it. Where is this fucking thing?
Art. Say, let's just
Sean Levy.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So you got James Wan did the Conjuring movies. So that's huge for horror. And then you have Sean Levy, who's been doing Stranger Things for the last fucking eight years. So who better to be executive producers on something that's horror based than currently two very prolific people in the horror scene when it comes to film.
Well, that and with A24, I think it's not one of those things that, like, anything that A24 puts out is good. It's not that. It's that I feel like they are doing a great job in bringing in stranger parts of horror.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very excited for it. That Backrooms thing was one of the best found footage things I've seen in a long time.
I think the original series is good, like, from him. But when it got into, like, oh, look, people can just go there whenever they want now. Like, the fandom on the outside.
Yeah, no, I like when horror is inaccessible and unexplainable and impossible, because that's why Lovecraftian, because that's what Lovecraftian horror is. It's just impossible cosmic stuff that you can't explain, and that's the best type of horror. Like, the shit you can't figure out.
Dude,
or never figure out. By the end of the movie, you still don't know.
Oh, dude, have you ever heard of the game How Fish is Made?
No.
I can't figure out, or granted I only played it once, but I can't figure out what the fuck that game's about. It's it's bizarre, but the thing that got me is it they ask you a lot of philosophical questions of the people you meet along the way. But
Yeah.
there's this moment where you're walking into like a sort of doorway, and there's this huge organic thing hanging above the door, and I sat there for about 5 minutes trying to figure out what it was, and it was unidentifiable.
There's a game called what is it? It's like something lives under the lighthouse, and or there's nothing under the lighthouse. I can't remember the exact name of it. I played through it, but the premise is you, spoiler alert for anybody who actually wants to play the game. It's a great game, but it's also long. The premise is basically you're the new caretaker of the lighthouse and the grounds, and this thing starts like fucking with you, this giant like spider thing. And as you go through the game, you find out that you are the spider thing.
Huh.
And it just keeps revolving and revolving and revolving, and you keep coming here. Versions of you keep coming here, and you don't know why. And it's never explained. It just ends. And like there's a upside down flipped version of the lighthouse under the lighthouse where the thing lives, and you're like, at the end of it, you're like, what the fuck is happening? But I was so intrigued the entire time because it was so. It wasn't even just Lovecraftian, but it felt like Lovecraft. It felt like I was playing a Lovecraft game, and I just couldn't figure out most of it.
Oh God, have you played Iron Lung?
I have played Iron Lung, and I love Iron Lung. Iron Lung's fucking awesome.
I can't do it.
Why?
I've got I have a fear of isolation, which I actually learned what the term for that is. It's called autophobia.
Okay.
But it's total isolation. And
I don't think I have a fear of that.
I don't know why I do, but the minute I'm like in like middle of the woods by myself, I get incredibly paranoid.
So you'd probably hate Subnautica. Subnautica is just you have nobody. It's just you and ocean.
Subnautica, I'm fine because it's hard to explain, but like the fish, like the ones with like the big bug eyes that are always around, I'm like, I kind of laugh at those while I'm swimming around.
There's a lot of life in there, but Iron Lung is completely, there's nothing. You're inside a sealed death trap.
Oh God,
and you can't see anything.
Yeah, I bought the game, I have it, and I started it up, and the minute it loaded, I'm like, I can't fucking do this, and I backed down.
That gives me a whole different type of fear because of the premise that you have to take pictures as you're like after you're done moving to see what's outside. That shit fucking terrifies me,
dude. Well, the thing is, I watched a breakdown video on that game. I know how it ends, but I still want to go through it. I want that experience for myself.
You don't expect the ending at all. You know, like you expect that there's something outside, but it happens so fast.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's by the same guy that designed Dusk.
I can see that. Yeah,
David Demasked.
Yeah, Iron Lung is one of those gems of like impossible horror. I love it. It like plays on like it's what makes SCP so great is that like most of it is Lovecraftian in nature. It's impossible, and they use like crazy words that they can't even fucking understand because it sounds they're so big and so unexplainable. So they use these giant words in these articles to make you feel like it's super important, but not even they can explain it because this thing is so unexplainable.
Well, like well, was the selling point for me getting Iron Lung was A, it was on sale, and B, I see like the review I was watching, the guy, I love it when reviewers put things in just simple terms.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, oh, it's a 9 out of 10 or something like that. No, it's like, you're in a metal tube at the bottom of an ocean of blood. Good luck.
and you can, and everything is sealed.
Yeah.
You can't do anything. You cannot escape until you resurface, where we will. They don't just. You're not just sealed. They fucking solder it shut.
Yeah.
Like it's they burn it to. It's metal. It's all metal. There is no openings.
Even the window has like a metal plate like
Yeah,
riveted
they
on.
seal you and bolt you in. That's it. You're done. They had no intent of getting you out. They say they're gonna get you out. There's no intent of getting you out.
Well, it's always those types of stories that, like, it makes me feel bad of like oh yeah, you can work off your prison sentence if you do stuff for us.
Yeah.
But oh my god. Well, like with specifically Iron Lung, it's the fact that it forces you to use your imagination because you're constantly hearing something right outside.
Yeah, and you're taking pictures, and every picture is like a rib cage, like a giant rib cage.
Well, not only that, but when you're at the navigation console and you can hear stuff around you, but you can't make it to the camera in time to see what it was.
There is some times where you do make it, and you see like a glimpse of it.
Yeah,
I just oh, there was something.
Well, I just remember like one shot of there just being like just an eye looking right into the camera.
Yeah. There's a similar game, this whole PS1 style horror thing. I really love it. It's you're basically trapped in this box, and you know there's something outside. I don't remember the premise of why I think it's like an apocalypse or something. So everybody's like underground or in these like metal traps, and you're drilling your way out, and you've got to do it before people get to you. And you finally do it, and you get outside, and everything's pristine, and you're like, there's nothing out here. And you start walking towards the sunset, and then this giant fucking crab spider thing is coming at you. Like from the distance. You're like, what the fuck is that? And it just slowly starts building up speed and coming towards you, and you try to run back in, but it doesn't fucking matter. You already escaped. That's why you were in there. The world was overrun by these like things, and they just didn't want to tell you what was out there. The whole world's fine except for them just being there.
There was God, oh no, I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, I gotta stretch. Yeah. There we go.
Well, have you ever?
No.
Just no. So, have you ever played like a game that presents itself as one thing, but it kind of just throws it all out the window right at the end?
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it. It's fucking in my head, and I can't. I remember the game. Oh my god, it's gonna bug the shit out of me. It's the game's about you might be able to get this if I say it. The game's about a guy showing off his friend's games, but the friend doesn't want
the beginner's
the
guide
world to see it. The beginner's guide.
Yep.
Where like you think it's just him presenting his friend's games who he doesn't want anything to do with, and it's just like, I think this, like, this is what I think. I think this is what he wanted to represent in this game. I think he was feeling this at the time, and you find out at the end that this whole is completely different. Because this is one game I'm never gonna spoil for people who haven't played it or seen it, because it's like, it's not what you think it is the entire time.
And it's beautifully presented too.
It's beautifully presented because you get to the end and you're like, holy shit, this is sad. Like, this is really fucked. Like. It is one of those games that is a complete 180 towards the end. The ending is completely different from the beginning. It's not the same game.
So I have an example that does the opposite, where you know how the beginner's guide goes from really good to great?
Yeah.
I have one that starts off good and then just craps the bed right at the end. And unfortunately, it's a somewhat popular game. It's have you ever heard of Gone Home?
No.
So the whole premise of that game is about sort of finding clues to I believe it's your character's sibling has gone missing.
Okay.
And not in a sinister fashion, they've just left. They're gone. Poof.
Oh.
And the thing is that like with the autophobia in mind, the fear of isolation, you're wandering around a huge house by yourself in the middle of the night. And that entire time I was waiting for something or someone to like charge me down a hallway. And but the thing is, the house itself presents it like this. Like there's clearly been shit moved around. There's clothes on the floor that shouldn't be there. There are lights
Yeah.
on, and I'm literally like like kind of checking around corners, waiting for like a a guy with a bat just to come running. And like at the end, it's this almost like a non sequitur twist that's just like, oh, yep, this is what it's all about, and then the game just cuts off.
Great.
Yeah, and I've never been more like disappointed because I was waiting for like the whole like without saying what's there, the whole game leads to what is in the attic. Like
Okay.
like it has the house has one of those pull down hatches, and you got to just figure out how to open the attic and figure out what's up there, right?
Okay.
And the whole time I'm like, there's gonna be a fucking monster or a body up there or something. And
I
uh
I I think I have a similar experience. It's not because like there was a twist at the end. I didn't ever actually finish it because how fucking shit it turned out to be.
uh-huh.
But Koalot. Koalot was this beautiful game about the Dyatlov Pass and like the hikers in Russia years ago who went missing for days, and they found their bodies like in shape that made no sense. Like tent cut from the inside and all that stuff, and radiation covered, and this game is basically like what's in the area, like what happened to them. And it starts off really cool, like this, like, oh, I want to know what it is, and then it just turns into a fucking walking simulator. You basically have to figure out the direction yourself, and the world is completely non-linear, and there's no direction. So like you have no idea where to fucking go. So the entire time you're walking around, you're bored as shit. And the fucking narrator, which I apparently is Sean Bean somehow, is narrating this game, is the only saving grace. And then there's cool bits every now and again, and then like that's it. Like it's just a fucking walking sim. And it bothered the shit out of me because I was really excited for that game.
There was
Binding of Isaac's one,
oh
where you think it's one thing and it's a completely different thing. Like with the ending, where to find out what happened to Isaac, it's a completely different flip. Which you just think is just a normal platformer. It's just like kind of like grotesque platformer. Like something's up, like it's a traumatized kid going through something, but you don't realize what it is until the end.
Well, I'm reminded of. I want to say, I don't think it's. I think I might be wrong here. Yeah, I am wrong. I had it in my Steam library ages ago. I think it's called Catherine or Katrina or some. It's a name, but it's not. It's not the Atlas game, Catherine.
Like the one with the goats.
Yeah, it's not that one.
Okay.
But it does this very linear storytelling where you're inside of a one bedroom, like almost like a studio apartment type cabin where like the living room and the dining room are all one room.
Yeah.
And you're sort of like it almost acts like a point and click where you like click to move to one part and move back. But as you're pacing, things subtly start to change about the cabin as you learn new things. And I can't even name the game, so I guess I feel nothing in spoiling it because it was like a free game from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But there's a moment where you unlock a large wardrobe and you find a body in there.
Oh.
Like one that's been there for a long time. And there's a moment of like, oh shit, did I put the body here? Like, am I the bad guy here? And it, like, you come to find out that that body isn't like your girlfriend that's gone missing, because that's the whole premise, is you're looking for her. That's you. You're the one in the box.
Oh, you're dead.
Yeah, and so you're standing inside the cabin as you hear the girlfriend and like her new boyfriend go to burn the cabin down with you inside.
Wow.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of, I guess we're going away from games a little bit here. Like something that starts somewhere and is completely the reveal is like it changes the entirety of the rest of it.
Oh yeah.
A Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe comes to mind with that whole thing, because the entire time the main character is hearing a heartbeat, and you as a reader, you don't know why the entire time. He's explaining these like frantic ideas and thoughts, and this entire time you think he's just listening to an insane person, but the heartbeat. Spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't read this like 1,000-year-old story. The heartbeat is actually, I don't remember if it's the neighbor, but he killed someone and put him under and buried him under his floorboards.
Oh,
so the heartbeat you're hearing the whole time, he's hearing the whole time is actually his guilt and knowing what he did, and the frantic ideas and thoughts are everything that he was thinking after he killed him. So the entire story is changed from that fact.
Well, with that recontextualization, that brings a whole new light to that SpongeBob episode.
What, is there a Telltale Heart thing?
Yeah, the squeaky boots.
I don't remember that.
Where SpongeBob gets a new pair of boots and
I remember that.
And Mr. Krabs loses it and buries them under the floorboards of the Krusty Krab, and he starts hearing squeaks everywhere.
That's actually makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, they're here under the floorboards, and he like tears out the boots.
Yeah, it's probably, is the episode called A Telltale Heart?
No, it's probably some play on.
So it's just a reference. But yeah, no, that makes sense. So you've never read the story?
I have not, but it's fine.
I mean, it's famous. Like it's one of those stories that if you haven't read, you probably heard somewhere, or you'll hear someone say it to you. It's one of those stories most people don't read because of how old it is, but a friend will probably just tell you about it.
Well, like, well, with the years of people both referencing Poe and not completing the reference to Poe's, like, whenever you hear about the Raven, in my mind, at least up to very recently, it was literally just, oh, bird shows up, says nevermore, that's the end of the whole thing. But then I sat down and read it, and I'm like, oh, this is way more going on.
Yeah, it's the entire time you're led to believe that he's just, I don't remember the entire story, but he's guilty about something, and you can tell he's guilty about something, but you don't know what, and the heartbeat keeps resounding throughout his house, and like it's audible through the story, and then you find out at the end what he did. I don't remember if it was like a neighbor or like his dad or something. I don't remember. It's been a long time, but he killed somebody and put him in the fucking floor.
What was the...
And there's going to be somebody in the comments that is just going, that's not what it was about. So I don't care. The story's like 200 years old. I don't care.
Or what was the one... There was a movie, not it wasn't based, I don't think it was based on a Poe story, but it had a really good, like almost a similar feel to it. It was The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse, you said?
Yeah, with was it Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe?
Yeah, I still haven't seen that.
Do it.
I wanted to watch it in theaters when it came out, but everybody was like, it's weird.
It's, dude, like, that is an uncomfortable viewing experience if you're gonna go see.
I heard it's really fucking weird.
It.
I kind of want to watch it.
Do it. Like, I highly, highly recommend.
I thought it was something else entirely.
Me
and
too.
then I saw the trailer. I saw like scenes of it. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, I went in completely blind. I only ever saw like, I think it was like a production.
The trailer makes it seem like just a horror movie.
Oh yeah.
That's like a creepy fucking isolated horror movie, but like, no, it's not.
Well, like all I ask is that you do try to put two and two together. It's not going to help you, but try.
I will try.
Because that's what I spent the whole movie doing. I'm like, well, maybe. No, I'm wrong. Nope.
I love movies like that. I love shows like that make me fucking think constantly. Currently, I'm watching Prison Break. I've seen it like 17,000 times, but there's a bunch of moments in the show where you think the main character like is doing something, and you're like, "Oh, no, I was wrong."
Dude,
I was completely wrong because it's just so intricately designed. I felt that way with the Sherlock movies with Robert Downey Jr. and the Sherlock show with Benedict Cumberbatch. Like every time I thought I understood something, I was wrong.
Dude, I tried. What was it?
I did it with Knives Out. Knives Out the entire time. I'm like, I know who it.
See,
I was wrong the whole time.
See, I had the exact opposite thing with the MTV Scream TV show.
I never watched it. That Ariana Grande was in it, right?
I don't think so, but it was
Scream Queens.
But that show is terrible.
A lot of shit that comes out of MTV nowadays is bad.
Well, it's so like with the Scream movies, some of the biggest parts of it is the figuring out who the killer is, right?
Yeah, who done it?
Literally the first episode, I'm like, it's that person right there.
Yeah.
And then the whole show kind of like, nope, it's not, but maybe, I don't know. And then it's like, surprise, it was me. I'm like, who could have fucking seen it coming?
The entirety of Knives Out, you're like, oh, it's got to be that guy. Like, it's got to be that guy. Because the person who definitely did it, it seems like they're in it for just another thing and not because they killed a person.
Yeah, they're right there, and they might as well.
They're there the whole time, and everything is screaming at you that it's them, but they allude to something else entirely the entire time so well that you're like, no, it's not them. There's no way. It actually is the girl. She actually did it by accident.
Fucking whoops.
Yeah, and at the end, you totally forget you're trying to fucking play a whodunit. And you're at the end, you're like, "Oh my god, I forgot there were suspects other than the person."
Even though one character is essentially screaming, "It was me," in terms of like motivation.
The entire time, they're putting them in front of your fucking face. This is another thing I'm never gonna spoil because that movie is fantastic. It's one of my favorite movies in recent years. I love that movie, and anybody who hasn't seen Knives Out should fucking watch it.
I've yet to see the follow-up.
Oh, Glass Onion is so good.
Is it? Okay.
It's not good in the same sense. Like Knives Out had this way of going about it because there was an actual murder. Like that you knew about. Like, okay, Trumpy died. He got killed and you think it's Marta the whole time. Dude. But now the entirety of I'm not going to obviously like explain the whole premise or plot or anything, but the premise of Glass Onion is that Blanc gets invited to this giant island owned by a billionaire and all of his friends, and he's supposed to solve the pretend murder, like the party game version. But you find out that a lot more people actually want this guy dead, and all of them are in the room. So all of them have a reason to kill the billionaire.
Well, it's almost like have you seen like Murder on the Orient Express and then the follow up?
I haven't, but I want to see it.
Dude, both that and Death on the Nile are both fantastic.
I'm gonna watch them because I love whodunit movies. But this isn't like a classic whodunit because, for the most part, nobody died, like that we're trying to investigate. So, the entire time you're led to believe that everything is fine, but except for the fact that the billionaire's a piece of shit and everybody in the room has a reason to get rid of him. And then it plays out. It's actually the funny part is it's another one of those things. You think it's something else, and by the end, it's something else completely different. That movie is a different take on a whodunit. It's not the classic case of someone died. Who do we blame it on? Like who do we know could have done it? Nobody died, but somebody is probably going to die. We just got to figure out who it is before it happens. But that's not it at all. There's a whole nother branch. Like there's so much more shit behind everything. There is a twist in that movie that's gonna fuck you up.
Oh, I'm ready.
And it's like directly in the middle of the movie, and you're like, what? Dude, I lost my fucking shit, had to stop for like 10 minutes, and I was like, okay, let's get back into this.
If I remember years ago, I want to say it was off of a podcast or something. Somebody presented the idea of a horror movie that I desperately want to see made. And it's like, it's a whodunit, but by the time it's figured out who did it, it's somebody who has nothing to do with any of the cast at all.
That would be great. It's like, it's this guy in Argentina.
It was probably Jacob, that guy over there. And then it's like, no, it's that murderer in the hockey mask right there. He just showed up.
I thought it would have been funny the whole time if the grandma did it in the first one. Just killed her on set.
Dude, oh.
And she's like fucking 90.
Dude, I had an idea for a ghost movie I want to make.
Okay.
Because I so badly want to make this of like one of those setups of like, we're going to use a Ouija board and summon a spirit. But then there's just like a clean skeleton just kind of hanging out in the back. Just like wandering the house. Like that's the haunt, but nobody sees it.
It's just a skeleton.
Yeah, like it's just chilling out on the couch, and I'm like, my God, who moved this?
Or it's
coffee?
just a person. It's just a person. He's not translucent.
Yeah,
he's just a person. But it's a ghost, and only we can see it. Like
it's clearly
they see nothing, but we see the actual person.
It's clearly like a guy with a sheet over his head.
No, it's just a guy in a shirt. It's just a guy in a button-up shirt, and they can't. Nobody in the movie can see anything. So to them, it's the haunt, but to us, it's a comedy.
But
to them, that would be so funny if the whole movie to them is a horror movie, but to us, it's like like Tucker and Dale, where the entire movie's technically a horror movie, but it's just people dying in fucking stupid ways.
But it's a horrible misdirection as to what's actually happening.
I love that movie. It's so good. Have you seen Tucker and Dale?
Yes, and
oh my God, that movie's amazing.
I love the desperate, like, we were just out here in the cabin.
And they were. That was the funniest part. No, we really were just, these college kids just keep killing themselves.
Oh my God. Like,
oh my God. That movie's so good. I love that movie.
I think there needs to be more like it.
Yeah, that's like satire that I've never seen. And I love like proper satire. I also like alluded satire, like Hot Fuzz and World's End and Shaun of the Dead, like the Cornetto stuff. Like I love satire that's done well. It's not in the face of comedy. It's in the face of like tribute to the actual thing. We just want to make something like it, but like not really.
Well, like I have a newfound love for, like, I've always adored Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, but I went back and watched The World's End recently.
I love that movie.
And like before I used to see it as like, oh, this is sort of the weak point of the three movies, but I now
I don't think it is.
I think they're all equal, honestly.
I think you can love them all separately for their own reasons. I think personally, as a movie standpoint, like we were just taking a step back and looking at it as a movie, I think Hot Fuzz is the best movie, like overall movie. It's the best overall experience. I think Shaun of the Dead is a really good like sit down with anybody and watch that movie. It's funny. It's really well made. The references are great. Queen has a song in it. Like there's a lot of great elements to that movie. And then you have The World's End, which is like I love all these movies because it's obviously just a bunch of nerds who watched a bunch of movies in the 80s and wanted to make those movies, like a cop action movie and a zombie movie and an alien movie. It makes sense that all these friends wanted to get together and make these things. But The World's End is one of those like you got your zombie movie, you got your funny buddy zombie movie, you got your badass action movie with like an impossibly cool and over the top guy being the main person, and everybody else around him is a fucking idiot. And then you have The World's End, which is like their blockbuster movie. That's like the movie you see to be like, oh shit. It's like one of the it's their oh shit movie.
Well,
so I think the Cornetto trilogy as a whole is like it has everything. It's everything you want in a trilogy that has nothing to do with any of the movies.
Well, then all three films, despite them being wildly different in tone, also all hit amazing emotional beats as well as comedy.
Yeah. You have you have the deaths in Shaun of the Dead, like that really sell it, like the ones that you care about because they make you care about the characters. They make you care about Ed. They make you care about the mom and all that. And in the second one, when you find out like what the town is actually about, like that really hits. And like just watching Danny go through it. And then The World's End was just The World's End, I think, has the best series of emotional beats, in my opinion, because Gary King he's a massive asshole and an idiot, but he is also in incredible pain the entire movie.
Well,
and the entire time he's just selling it as just wanting to get back to the way things were because he's in so much pain. But he doesn't, and it's obvious the entire movie that that's what's happening, but everybody's just going about it like normal.
Well, no. On the first watch, it's like, okay, he's just kind of trying to play it up to be, the king again. But then you get to this point where you sort of like, even before the the big reveal of bandages and whatnot.
Yeah.
There's like why is he so desperate to get to the next, like shit's gone south. Why is he still going to the
He has nothing else.
Yeah, that's as he said himself, this is all I've got.
Nothing. It never got better than that night is what hits so hard.
Yeah.
It peaked at that point and it never got better. It only got worse from there. So that's all he's been thinking about for the last 20 years.
Well, that and I love that character change at the end where he wanders into a bar and he's like just a water.
Well, it's also probably that they just don't have beer anymore.
Well, I like to think that he like co-opted, his friends. Like, I'm not gonna drink.
That could be it. Yeah, I think the only part about the movie I don't like is that last scene at the end where they jump towards the camera. I'm like, that was a little cheesy. That's like the only part of the movie that I don't. That's my favorite of all three of them. I think. I'm a sucker for alien movies, and it's just the way I watched The World's End completely blind. I had never heard of it before. I had watched Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, but didn't know they were connected in any way. Like, didn't know they were part of the same thing. It's because the trilogy didn't exist until after The World's End. Then they called it the Cornetto trilogy. But at the time, pretty much everybody treated Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz as their own separate thing. So when The World's End came out, I didn't see a trailer on it. I didn't even know what it was, and it was already on DVD by the time I found out about it. So I went on a sketchy like Putlocker website and I watched it. And I didn't know it was about aliens. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't watch a trailer. I didn't read a synopsis. So you can imagine my surprise when a fucking sci-fi alien lover like me watches this movie about, actors he really enjoys, and pleasantly surprised of how awesome it is. Like, as just a movie in general. I watched it completely blind, and I think it's the best way to watch it. It was so good. Can you imagine watching a Cornetto movie for the first time without watching a trailer and knowing what it's about?
Well, see, like, I was still living at my dad's when Shaun of the Dead had come out.
Yeah.
Well, I was a kid, but whatever. But
he was living with me. Okay.
Yeah, I was paying the rent with my my Monopoly dollars.
Yeah.
But no, the way I would get introduced to movies as a kid, not only being brought to the theater, would my dad almost treated it like I hesitate to say almost like a drug dealer. Well, no, because he'd be like, "Hey, you want to watch Shaun of the Dead?" And I go, "What's that?" And he goes, "You'll love it." And then he puts in the DVD player.
I remember the first time I watched Shaun of the Dead. I obviously watched it way after it came out because I was like way too young. It came out in 2004. I was probably 6, I think. Yeah, I was 6. So by the time it came out, I didn't care about movies yet, except for like Harry Potter.
Am I older than you?
Probably. How? When were you born?
Wait.
I'm turning 25 tomorrow.
Oh my god, I am older than you.
I get that. You had full reason to believe I was either the same age or older than you.
Dude, I'm going to be 27 next month.
You're not that much older.
Still.
That's not that much. That's literally no different.
I know, but still just that, like, you're like,
being that surprised would be like, I'm 35. Like, whoa.
Well, no, because you're like, I was like 6. I'm like, wait.
I was 8.
Yeah, I'm like, hold on a second here. There's something wrong.
Yeah, I was 6 when it came out, so I didn't really care. But I remember my mom, we went to the library a lot to just like, she liked books and I liked movies a lot. I didn't really care for books except for like Harry Potter. It's like Harry Potter when I was a kid was the only book I read. So when we went to the library, I didn't really give a shit about books. I just went to that little movie section they had, and you could rent a movie with your library card, but you would have to be accompanied by an adult because pretty much every movie in there worth watching was rated R. But you could still take it out. Your mom or dad would just have to sign it out and say it's for them, which is what happened all the time. So I saw Shaun of the Dead on the shelf. I had never heard of it, and I was like, "Mom, I want to do this one." She's like, "Okay, you want to stop?" And I this was the best part about being a kid back then was, I was like, "Can we stop at Blockbuster and get popcorn and candy?"
Hell yeah!
And she's like, "Of course,
dude." Oh.
Sick. So we watched it together, and I obviously didn't appreciate it at the time for what it was, but I watched it again for the second time when I was much older and appreciated it. But even back then, I enjoyed it. It was still one of my favorite movies back then. That and Little Nicky. I watched Little Nicky like crazy.
Dude, I had a friend that me and him would watch Little Nicky on a fucking loop.
Little Nicky was one of those movies that I could watch constantly. If you ask any of my family members how much I've watched Adam Sandler movies in general, I'd probably get like sued for some type of obsession. I watched Mr. Deeds, Billy Madison, Big Daddy, and Little Nicky so much. It's like all I watched.
For me, it was Happy Gilmore.
I loved Happy Gilmore. I still though, Mr. Deeds and Little Nicky are above that for me. I just have like a nostalgia thing for it.
Click. I love Click.
I don't like Click as much. That's probably like one Adam Sandler movie I really don't enjoy, except for Jack and Jill. We don't talk about Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill's
terrible.
I don't like the first half of Click, But when it gets into that dark shit at the last half,
Yeah.
that is
Click isn't a bad movie. It's just it's one of those commercial movies that he made that I'm just not a huge fan of.
oh yeah, but there's something about that bizarre tone change near the end.
Yeah.
That
Where there's like this is actually it's like fucking A Christmas Carol, but like not during Christmas.
well, it's that okay. So I mean, for party people at home, Click's been out since what fucking 2005.
Yeah, I don't care if anybody spoils it.
Yeah, but that whole scene.
It's an Adam Sandler movie. Like it's not a spoiler.
Well, no, it's that scene where it's the last time he saw his dad, and he's playing it over and over.
The scene that gets me is when he runs after his kid after he runs out of the hospital.
Yeah, and he's screaming
And it
after
like
him.
he hits the fucking pavement super hard, and he's like screaming after his kid.
Oh.
Like that shit hurts. I saw that when I was a kid, and I was like, oh no, is this what pain feels like? Oh no.
dude. Speaking of Blockbuster that you brought up before, before the Blockbuster in my area closed, I got to my dad used to vet movies before I got to see them. But after a point he started to not do that as often. and there's only one time it was a big slip up where it was right when I started my horror phase. So I was watching, Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween. And we walk into a Blockbuster and I'm like, oh, look, it's American Psycho.
Oh, no.
With Christian Bale. And my dad goes, hey, you want to rent that? And I go, sure. And I go, are you going to watch it with me? He goes, no, you can, watch it in your room. And he's like, look, it's, it's Christian Bale. It's Batman. You got to playing Batman right now. It can't be anything too bad. Then, hard cut.
Did he not know?
He didn't know. He hadn't seen it.
Oh, my God. That's like giving your kid a Clockwork Orange. Like,
yeah. And like the next day, he's like, all right, we're going to take the movies back. How's the movie? And I'm like,
I never want to go to Blockbuster with you ever again, ever trusting you ever.
Well, no, I just kind of had to look at him like, look, if you had seen it before I saw it, you wouldn't have let me see it.
You wouldn't have let me see it.
and he just goes, oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, it got rough real fast. And he's like, yep.
It's called American Psycho.
Well, I think he figured it was just your typical, like, slasher film.
The cover alone should be like, fuck.
Yeah. Well, the fact that, the whole prostitutes, feed me a stray cat. Just, oh, my God. Oh, God, I just had an epiphany.
Oh.
I think I accidentally did the same thing to my brother.
I think we've all showed people a movie we know or didn't know was fucked up.
No, my brother, as of recording, as right now he's 17, right?
Uh-huh.
Because it's because it's a similar taste and stuff. But I recommended him The Boys.
The show's great.
17-year-old man.
I was watching way worse shit at fucking 17.
Oh yeah, but up to this point, like, sure, he's played.
I had seen Human Centipede by 17.
Dude, I've seen all of those movies, and
I've seen the first two, and I stopped after the second one.
Dude, the third one.
That's the one in the prison, right?
Yeah, and
I read the premise. I'm not doing it.
well, no, it just felt like they were, because it did. You know how like there's the first movie, and then the second movie is like outside the first movie.
Yeah, it's a real person looking into the movie exists as a movie, and then he recreates it.
It does the same thing in 3. Like once,
what? Where the
first
the
two
second
movies
movie is
are
an actual
movies.
movie? Oh my God.
Yeah.
At that point, it's so fucking. The second one, like the first one's gross. The second one is awful.
Oh yeah.
The second one is way worse than the first one. Like, in so many fucking ways. I mean, a lady crushes a fetus under her foot to push a gas pedal.
Yep.
Like, that part is where I stopped watching. I don't even think I finished the movie. Like, she popped out a baby in the car. Baby dropped under her foot, and she just smushed it.
Yep.
And just hit the gas pedal and left.
Well, but I'm gonna have to put 18 plus on this video.
It's disgusting. That movie's one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's fucking awful.
Well,
it's so bad.
Well, like the third movie, it feels like they took that same horrifying energy and they're like, let's just kind of scattershot random things.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a bit in the second one where he sticks fucking what is it, like medical grade laxatives in a needle.
Yep.
And sticks it inside like in their ass cheeks so that because they're not doing anything. They're not doing what he wants them to do.
Yep.
So he forces them to shit. And then they all start like ripping off. Oh my god, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. It's so bad. It's so bad. I'm bringing up trauma. I don't want to do this anymore. That movie's terrible.
I don't like this show anymore.
I don't like this movie. Oh my god. I don't want to play this game anymore. It's for babies. I want to play Call of Duty Shooter-mans.
And I'm just having this image in my head of like later on, how'd that interview go? We'll talk about.
Oh my god. that I'm never watching that movie ever again. I will. You can't pay me to watch that movie again. Like, that movie's awful. It's the single worst experience I've ever had watching something.
I'd say there are only a handful of movies that lay claim to that. Like, I've seen it once. I am comfortable.
I'm never watching it again.
Yep, I can live the rest of my life never ever.
I have a couple movies like that for different reasons. Like, they were just really stupid, and I cut it like 20 minutes in. Like Veronica, that movie that everybody was talking about years ago on Netflix, that it was the scariest horror movie anybody's ever seen, and I watched it for like the first 20 minutes, and I'm like, this is fucking awful.
Well,
I mean, I sat through La Llorona, and that movie's terrible too. Movie's bad.
God,
movie's real bad.
There was one. Oh God, I want to say it was the Evil Dead remake that I don't hate that movie. I actually love that movie. But
the bit where it goes up.
No.
That bit got me. That bit was like, I don't want to watch this movie anymore. They're like, we're already sitting it out. And I'm like, I don't want to watch it anymore.
Now, so I saw that movie in theaters with
I watched the whole movie.
Oh yeah, I sat through the whole thing.
And all I could say is that guy with like the short blonde hair, that can fucking survive a tank blast.
Dude,
he kept getting fucked up, and he just kept getting up. Every 20 minutes, we'd be like, oh, there's only 2 people left. How the fuck is he still alive?
Like, oh, dude, when his hand goes in half, like,
oh yeah, when she's like smacking it with the fucking crowbar or whatever it is.
Well,
yeah.
But the part that weirdly got me, and so I went and saw
with the face thing.
Surprisingly, no. It was
really that bit got me too.
It was when the main character, I believe her name is Mia, is hiding in the shed, being hunted by the evil itself, like the personified version. And it puts the machete through the wall, and it goes like through her knee.
Yeah, I saw that movie one time after it came out. I don't think I remember that bit.
It gets like the top of her kneecap, and like the evil like pulls the machete out and like pulls it slowly out, and you have to watch the blade go back through.
Ugh.
And my dad is a stone wall when it comes to certain like scary movies. And that is the first time I've ever seen him full body cringe. I look over and he's rubbing his knee, and I just hear him like, ah!
Yeah, I don't remember the first time I've ever actually like cringed at a movie because of how fucking hard it was to watch.
There was, I want to say
I don't know.
I want to say the first time for me was like one of the Nightmare on Elm Street films.
I think it was probably. It might have been Pan's Labyrinth.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
When he like bashes his fucking face in with the nightstick.
Yeah, it's like it feels like
And
that
it's
goes...
it's one shot and it feels like it goes on for an hour.
Yeah, right?
And it's awful to watch because you just watch his face cave in. Like slowly, at each beat is pushing his face farther and farther in. That I remember when I was watching, because I watched that, came out in like 2006, so I was still a kid. So watching that was definitely one of those times, at least that I can remember, one of the first times where I was like,
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's bad.
Dude, have you seen Mother?
I don't want to. I've seen clips and I don't want to watch it.
No, that whole movie, the whole movie.
I heard it's very hard to watch.
You feel like you were there for days. And not like, oh, it's boring or slow paced. It's when shit starts to happen, it feels like time slows.
Yeah, that Pan's Labyrinth one got me.
Dude, yeah. Well, don't they keep like cutting to the guard
Their
and he's
friends'
like
faces.
He's like expressionless while he's doing it.
Yeah, he's just like he's kind of like biting his bottom lip a little bit just because of like the pressure. But like it's the cut to the friends' faces where they're like, oh my God. Like that, like how horrified these people look that their friend is just getting destroyed in front of them.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's
How did we end up here?
I don't know. Oh, there was also the bit, and I don't remember if it was like probably the seed of Chucky or which one it was. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've seen the Chucky movies, but it was the one where they like open up his back and you see like the insides of him, of the doll itself, and it's like beating and gross. It looked like pizza when you take the cheese off. You don't remember what I'm talking about?
No, I do, and I wish I had my camera on because I just like face in my hands, just.
Yeah, that bit that has to be one of the first ones. It's probably like it's either Chucky. I know that that one happened in a Chucky movie, but Child's Play is probably one where it got me too. I don't remember a lot of Child's Play, but Chucky in general just freaks me out.
There was one that. Oh, have you seen Planet Terror?
No.
So, without giving too much away, so that movie has a lot of like shock, horror, and gore in it.
Oh, Saw. That's what got me. That's the first one that got me.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't remember which one it is. It's like Saw 1 or Saw 2, but he's fucking super glued. His entire back super glued to a car seat.
Oh God, that's like the fourth one. Yeah, Chester Bennington, lead singer of Linkin Park.
Yes.
He's got to drive
and he
the
fucking
car.
rips it off, and it was disgusting.
Oh God, but no, with
That was Chester? I might have not figured that out back then. Holy shit.
It was, yes. But
wow.
But oh shit, what movie was I talking about?
I don't remember. I'm sorry. I just like I remembered as soon as like it's like, oh, that bit, no.
Dude, specifically that bit with Chester.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, when he lands on the hood and his whole back's all shredded.
Or what was that fucking movie? Idle Hands.
Oh God, yeah.
When they rip his scalp off at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one got me, and I was very young when I saw that. That might be the first one that got me when the hand just rips that guy's scalp off on stage.
Oh shit! Now I remember. So Planet Terror is a zombie movie. It was part of the Grindhouse with Death Proof.
Okay.
Both I want to say co-directed by Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez. There we go.
Okay.
But there's a scene in that where there's a lot of gore and whatnot because this is a zombie movie. Of course, there's going to be something. But there's a scene that always just it's not even gory. It just makes me incredibly uncomfortable. Like that hand wringing uncomfortable, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a lady gets accidentally injected with like tranquilizers, and so her arms go entirely numb.
Ooh.
And she's trying to get in her car, and she's trying to grab at the door handle, and the door handle's like the hoop one, like on an old like Charger.
Mm.
And she slips and falls and like snaps her wrist.
Ugh.
But like it's not like her hand comes off. You just crunch, and her hands just like her arms just stuck up there while she's sitting on the floor.
Ew.
And like she can't feel it, but she's just like, oh god, oh my god. And
There was oops, sorry. I thought you were done.
Oh, like spends the rest of the movie with like shattered wrists.
There was one I remember when I was also young. It was a movie called Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah.
And there's a bit, I'm not going to explain it because it's fucking disgusting, but there is a bit where she's looking at the corpse of the old lady and it falls on her and all that stuff
Yep.
falls all over. And I was eating ice cream while I was watching that.
Yep.
And it made me throw away the ice cream.
Yeah, yeah.
There was another movie, I think it was, I've only ever seen it once. I was really young. I think it was called The Descent.
Oh,
in
God.
The cave.
Yeah.
And she snaps her fucking bone and you see it.
Yep.
Like, I think it was like her leg or her arm or something. It's been so long. But she hits the ground so hard that it fucking snaps.
Yeah, I'm absolutely.
I've seen a lot of horror. I didn't realize I've seen a lot of fucking horror movies, and I didn't realize that because I don't really like horror movies that much.
I'm picturing it now. I'm like, this is absolutely, a chat with TDN, 18 plus.
Oh yeah, this is not even an interview at this point. We're just talking about nothing.
I'm learning what makes you uncomfortable.
A lot of things. I'm very easily uncomfortable. It's very easy to make me uncomfortable with like bad shit, because I can be very flamboyantly sexual, and like, but I'm not gay, so that's what makes people uncomfortable. But it makes me very happy. Like when I'm like obviously acting very gay, but I'm not gay, so people get the wrong idea, and then that I tell them I have a girlfriend, and they're like, But you. But,
well, I mean, if that's
but you definitely.
well, that I was to say that you should then you should talk to Weekly Creeps then.
Does he do that?
Oh, well, so right when I started dating my current girlfriend, the minute I'm like, good news, I've got a girlfriend, he's like, so you're cheating on me.
So what you're saying is threesome.
and then every time I'm like,
but mainly with you. She can watch.
And then there was a day where like she came in to say hello or something while I was on a call with Weekly and the lady Spukaria, and I just hear Weekly go, "He's mine."
Back, heathen, back. Yeah, I'm very easily uncomfortable. I can't watch those cringe comps. I can't do it. Like where people are just being really cringy. Like I can't do it. It actually makes me so uncomfortable that I can't enjoy the video.
There's specific types of cringe that I love, but it's those ones where
I can't watch Karen cringe because I hate them so much. So it actually just makes me angry, and I don't enjoy watching it.
Karen cringe I can kind of do, but the one that like I can feel my soul deteriorating is when people get turned down at a proposal.
Yeah, I don't like relationship cringe.
Well,
that shit hurts.
Well, no, it's the ones where it's like they're in a baseball stadium.
Yeah, anything that has to do with like a couple or a people, and they're like dating or they're trying to date or someone's trying to date this person. I hate that. I hate those ones. I can't do them. I can't do most cringe stuff. Like, you can ask my girlfriend. She wants me to watch them all the time with her on Discord, and I can't do it. I can't do it. I just turn them down every time. I'm like, we're not watching this. She'll be like, it'll make me happy. I'm like, I don't care what makes you happy right now.
Or you just gotta pretend to get sick during it. Just like, I love you too.
Just like, oh, my head hurts really bad. I think I gotta go. Bye.
I left the stove on.
I left the stove on. It's 4 a.m. I left it on earlier.
All
shit, my house is burning down.
Gotta go.
Gotta go. I'm burning alive. I love you. Bye.
Gotta hang up and call the fire department.
I gotta hang up and die real quick. Bye.
Oh, dude, I try to, or dude, like edgelord cringe.
That stuff and like furry cringe. Furry cringe gets me.
For me, it's like, don't let the demon out, that sort of thing.
Oh my god, that shit's so gross. Like MySpace fucking emos. Like, I can't do it.
Or the ones accompanied almost solely by a picture of the Joker, whether it be only Heath Ledger's or specifically Joaquin Phoenix's.
Yeah. Don't let the demon out.
Don't test me.
If I let the demon out, do you stop being insufferable?
Do you become more
do you
interesting?
become a normal person? Do you become a functioning member of society? Or are you just fucking useless all the time?
Do you become coherent in your intentions?
Do you become like a person I can stand? Is that a possibility? Do you have that version of you? Is there a shade of you that I can actually like? Or just tolerate for a second?
Dude, I was standing in a bookstore recently, and I heard I heard a guy turn to his girlfriend, and in the most like 2005 like emo, like that middle school kind of edge.
Yeah.
Of just like, you wouldn't understand.
Ew.
I'm just like,
Newsflash, shithead. Most people understand. You think you're the only fucking teenager in the world that experienced that thing?
You're the only one who's sad.
You're the only one who gets it. You're the only one out of all the people on the planet. You're the only one who understands. I'm sure the fucking the idiot team with the fucking emo My Chemical Romance hair in the middle of a bookstore is the only person who gets why he's sad.
A vast cacophony of thousands of teenagers at once going, nobody understands me.
You can hear it from space.
How do I know? I used to be one of them, damn it.
Every teenager was like that. Nobody understands. The world hates me.
My name is not important.
What's important is my pain. My indescribable, unending pain. Even when I die, my pain doesn't stop. That's stupid. I hate these people. They should probably just explode.
Yeah.
Evaporate. Melt.
Reduced to atoms.
Gone. Reduced to atoms.
The work is done. That'll be me at the end, just sitting at my desk, staring into the sunset.
Crushed beneath my boot.
I am inevitable.
And I am an edgelord.
I am Blade Wolf 420.
Oh, God.
Then crawling.
Raw XD.
Rar means I love you in dinosaur.
Listen to my depressed playlist on my MySpace.
Dude, okay. You know what? Truth time. What was your cringe in middle school?
Cringe. I was just cringy in general, I think. I was trying too hard to like be a person to just like fit in with other people who I thought was cooler than me. And then I look back and I'm like, if they were doing that now, it wouldn't matter. I don't know. I don't know what my cringe would be. I was a nerd, so I guess like my entire existence was cringy.
I had like a faux like metalhead phase. It's like, yeah, I like metal. I watch Metalocalypse, and I listen to Metallica, My Chemical Romance, and a bunch of other bands that aren't even considered metal, but I think they're metal.
I mean, I wasn't super into anything to where it became apparent when I was in school.
So, no fedora, no nothing?
No, I was just more hoodie, jeans. Dude, I didn't really have any phases. Like I was one of those kids that just didn't have a phase. Like a phase that took over my life. I just didn't have one of those.
Yeah, and like
I didn't have the freedom to, though. Like my parents were pretty restrictive in like what I could do.
Yeah.
My dad especially, I didn't have any privacy or freedom to do much. So like my getting clothes and like buying t-shirts and like that wasn't a thing for me. We were broke and what we had was what we had, and that's all you get.
I fell into this weird like substrata of trying to be cool but doing everything that is considered lame.
I think my cringe phase, of what I would call it, wasn't really middle school. It was towards high school, like a junior high school, where my idea of high school was to just walk around with this resting bitch face so that nobody talked to me. So that nobody, like, so everybody thought I did something, you know? Like,
Yep.
I'm hiding something. Like, you don't want to mess with me. But I had nothing to offer. Like, I had nothing to give.
Don't let the beast out.
Like, I've gotten plenty of no, I wasn't like that. It was like more of like a gangster hip hop style, like.
Gotcha.
Because I that's was my life. Well, is my life. So my thing was just like, if I just look like I can fuck anybody up, then nobody will try to fuck me up. And the issue with that is that everybody thought I wanted to fuck with them, so they got into fights with me.
Wait.
I found out very quickly I'm good at fighting just randomly, but I cannot win every fight. I will say that right now. I have gotten to plenty of fights where I was beaten very, very badly.
Well, so through middle school and like post middle school, I had to like sort of put my foot down as a person. I mean, bless him for trying, but my dad tried to like, hey, go make friends, you know, try to make any semblance of a friend, but would like test out things on me to then go to school and see if that would make me cool.
Yeah.
It's like, try spiking your hair up, kids love kids with spiked up hair. And then I go to school and they're like, that's dumb. You're dumb. You look like a dork. I'm like, okay.
My whole persona was my dad, because he was the thuggish type.
Gotcha.
So like he did all of the things, like all of the things that you can think are bad in like a New York like bad area he did it. So he was one of those people. He was one of the real ones.
Tie iron to the kneecaps type.
Like he blacked out more than a handful of times each week. And a lot of people in his past got hurt. I mean, he's never killed anybody, but like, he did some bad shit. He was a bad dude. He's way better now. He's like just a chill fucking, almost 50-year-old dude, dad, just working at a warehouse like that. He's completely left that shit. But, but my role model was my father, who was, he wasn't the best
Role model
type to be role modeling after.
Yeah.
It wasn't even really a role model. I wanted nothing to do with him. I didn't want to be anything like him, but he's my father, so of course it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, of course.
So my whole persona was the same thing as his, but I had lived through none of the shit that he did. So like it made no, I mean, no, I've had some like hard shit happen to me, but like nothing to where it would turn me into that. I didn't live on, scratch that. I did. I I've been almost numerous times, but there's never been something that turned me into that badly.
See, like, that's interesting. That, like, I think your dad and my dad are similar in that regard. That they're sort of becoming the opposite of what they were.
He is so tame now.
And like, so my dad wasn't. How about word? He's a tough guy, but he's more repressed, I would argue.
My dad has the talk still, but he doesn't act on any of the actions anymore.
Oh, sure. Well, no, I meant just like emotionally repressed. My dad is or was. Like, you try to bring up an issue with him, and he'd just kind of be like, "Okay,"
My dad still gets into arguments like he used to, but they never get him mad enough to where he just is blowing up. He's just like, so what about this thing? Like, he just gets tired. It comes with age. You just figure out that it's not worth it anymore.
Yeah, you don't have enough time.
Or energy. Like, you're just done. You're like, I want to do whatever it is that keeps me alive, and that's it.
Well, there's something that I've noticed about my dad as time wears on, because I kind of saw him as this, growing up, sort of a brick wall, right?
Same with my dad. He wouldn't, open up or anything. He was just, you couldn't feel like you could actually have a solid conversation with him.
Yeah, same.
If it wasn't about something he completely understood.
Yeah, and like, granted, I still have problems with that nowadays because I don't know jack shit about cars, but he does. But
I don't know what to talk about with my dad. Like, I know he likes food. I know he likes stuff. And I try to talk to him about it. And you can have full-on conversations with him now, which is cool. But back then, it was just stories. Like, just listening to what he used to do.
Like, so I've witnessed it firsthand, and there were hints of it growing up, that my dad is a huge dork-ass nerd. And he is. And so am I, because I was raised by that guy. But he was always sort of, oh, sure, talk a little bit about Star Wars, but it was never in-depth or anything like that.
Yeah.
But there was a day when we were cleaning out my grandma's house after she passed, and we found a box full of his toys from when he was a kid. And he tossed them immediately. Well, I'm like, hey, Dad, you want to look through this box? And he goes, and once in a while, he takes this tone that's sort of like indignant. Like, I'm, too old to be doing this.
Yeah.
And so he's like, Fresman, I'm almost a 50-year-old man. I don't need any more toys. And I go, all right. And I dump them into the dumpster, and I find a little Matchbox car at the bottom. And I go, hey, Dad, what about this? And on the hood, there's like a picture of an eagle with the words Fall Guy on it. Which, if nobody here knows, especially the party people at home, Fall Guy was a TV show from the late 70s, early 80s starring Lee Majors, or the $6 Million Man.
Yeah.
And I showed that to my dad. I'm like, hey, Dad, what about this? And I just see something just click in his brain. He goes, oh, shit, Fall Guy. And he's like, wow. He's like, man, I can't believe this. And I watch him put it in his shirt pocket. I'm like, you fucking liar. Like, you nerd. Nerd. And I'm like pointing and laughing at him. I'm like, you're like me. I got it from you.
You're like me? Why didn't you say anything?
Yeah, like,
I live this life alone.
Like, you know how many times I tried to bring up comic books to you, jackass?
Oh my god. He's like, well, I'm not that type of nerd.
I just, but no, like, I think that's fascinating. And I hope if I ever have a kid someday, I hope I don't do that of, like, become the opposite of what I am.
Yeah.
Because I like the me
I'm
that I am.
definitely never having kids.
I don't know.
I don't want them.
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's age or what's happening, but I'm like not I don't want a kid, but I wouldn't be against it, you know?
I just don't like kids.
Oh no, that's fair. I hate children too, but it's like if I had one of my own, you know.
I can't even take care of myself. And people say like, oh, but it makes you the adult that you were always supposed to be. And like it smartens you up more than you think. And I'm like, that's cool. I don't care.
No, that's horse shit, because like looking back, no matter
Didn't
how
smart my dad up.
well, yeah, right? Like that
as far as I know, he stayed exactly the same after I was born.
Well, that's a realization that a lot of people don't have about their parents, is they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
No, newsflash to anybody listening: your teachers don't know what they're doing either.
Yeah,
your
nobody
teachers
does.
are just fucking adults who went to college. That's it.
Yeah,
And that means nothing. They read a couple of books. That's it.
It just
Nobody knows what they're doing. Not even the people who are working at NASA or fucking graduating Harvard. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. Nobody's figured this out.
It's all guesswork, and
they just have more knowledge in a very specific field than you, so they think they're smarter.
nobody has all the answers, but most people have some answers.
Yeah, and that does not make them better than you because they have the answers. Because most of the time those answers apply to literally fucking nil.
Yeah.
Most of the shit we know, besides basic survival instincts, means nothing. Most of what people who go to that field, the only thing that I would say is like the people who are graduating Harvard better be going into shit that matters, like cancer research or fucking space, shit that actually fucking matters. Because otherwise, if you're graduating from Harvard and you go work at a fucking like an insurance firm, fuck you.
I like,
and you still try to be like all prissy about it, you don't fucking matter.
see that right there reminds me of something that what might be my favorite moment. So how do I word it? It's what might be my personal favorite world event to ever occur. And it's something very minor on the cosmic scale of things. But I love that humanity...
Anything that happens on Earth is minor in cosmic scale.
But you know what I mean? Like, in terms of, like a meteor strike or whatever grand disaster, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But back in, I want to say November of 2020 or 2021, we launched a fucking garden gnome into space. Specifically the garden gnome from Half-Life 2 Episode 2. 3D printed and then fired into the fucking atmosphere for charity. And you know what? That might be my favorite thing that has ever occurred in the entire lifespan of human existence as I know it now.
Fuck Elon and his space car.
That too. I don't even like Elon Musk, but the fact that he had so much fuck you money to shoot a car into orbit.
Space.
Like, that is astounding to me.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Like, because I feel like if I were to sit down with him and just ask him straight up, why did you shoot a fucking car into space? He would just shrug, and I would take that answer.
I don't know, because I can.
I felt like it. Cool.
I'm bored. I'm fucking bored.
what else am I gonna do with all these Teslas?
He just shows you a room, and it's like a billion Teslas in one room. You're like, yeah, you gotta get rid of them somehow.
They're stacked on top of each other like a Hot Wheels collection.
And they're like rolling off. They're all just toppled.
And those space, like
upside down.
You know that spacesuit that's sitting in the car?
Yeah.
There's just a pile of them.
Yeah, just in a corner.
Oh my god! Like,
we got a lot more expeditions to do, boys.
We have so many planets to fire cars at.
To blast a fucking Tesla through the entire planet.
Just like.
That's how we save ourselves from a fucking alien invasion. We just start shooting fucking Teslas at the spaceships.
Well, like that's the thing is like outside of any current discourse with whoever person, the fact that there is a fucking car in orbit. It doesn't matter the person, the company.
Could you imagine fucking aliens watching us right now? Like, what the fuck are they doing?
Is that a ship? Why does it have wheels?
What's the point? It's not moving. There's someone in it. I think he's dead. They failed. Whatever they were doing, they failed.
Oh my god.
They get a closer look. They're like, what the fuck is that?
Why?
What was the point?
You spent how much?
That was hard? That was difficult for them to do? That was a talking point in their society?
You spent how long?
You spent how much money, and that's how long was it talked about? Why?
But the thing is...
What are they working on now? Why?
Well, the thing is, the gnome one specific was for charity. It was for...
when we helped you guys build the pyramids, this is not what we had in mind for your future.
We brought you pyramids. We brought you Stonehenge. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh my god. We thought at least by now you would be like at light speed, but
you realize that the pyramids can take off, right?
You realize you could have reached the end of the universe by now.
You would have hit the source wall, but no.
The source wall. My fucking cheeks hurt. Oh
fuck.
It's like, you realize the pyramids can take off, right? You just think we put fucking giant triangles in the fucking desert for no reason?
We gave you the most advanced ship we possibly had, and you fucking buried people under it?
You fucking buried people, and you're still trying to figure them out? We put them there so long ago.
You buried people under it, and now you're confused as to why we buried people under it?
You put people under it, and now you're still confused as to why they're under there? Have you looked inside? There's a giant fucking particle accelerator inside of it. There's a nuclear reactor inside.
Oh my god. You could have powered Egypt itself with one of those things.
Oh my god. You realize those things are turbines. The Earth's meant to move.
That's why the Earth's spinning.
The Earth's a megastructure. We just gave you the engines. I'd love to think that there's a fucking like a spaceship outside just monitoring us. Like they're not even interfering. They're like, you really went down there and gave them fucking like actual nuclear engines to move their planet, and they're not doing anything. Like how long ago did we go down there? God damn.
Dude, I
would love that, and that would be so funny if they never came back after that, and they're just monitoring to see what we do.
Sitting on the dark side of the moon, just like, those fucking idiots.
It's like they're just eating potato chips. They're like, oh, at least they made these. That's something.
Well, like, so...
And then they're watching the car about to be shot into space. They're like, oh, shit, they're about to do something new. They're about to do something new. Oh, shit. What the fuck is that?
Is that a car?
Is that a car? Why are they shooting Oh, they must have made flying cars. Okay, that's good. They're getting somewhere. They got They got anti-gravity engines now. That's good. Wait, it's just fucking sitting there.
And they're
The
taking
guy in
pictures
it's not
of it.
moving. Why the fuck is there a car in space?
Dude,
Where's the turbines? Where's the fucking engines? What's...
there's
They
no
just take a
plasma
closer
coming
look at,
off
like,
of it.
there's no light speed particles. What the fuck is happening? They take a closer look, like, they just shot a car into space because.
But
For no reason.
dude, so that gnome one specifically, I've never been more excited to, like, I watched the live stream when that happened because it was a whole event, and I usually don't get excited for these kinds of things, but watching that rocket take off, I'm standing there just go, 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 go. And you get to see a shot of the curvature of the Earth with the gnome fucking standing there on one of the platforms.
That's great.
And I've never been like more proud and ashamed. Like, we did it. Oh no.
We are the laughing stock of the fucking universe. If there's anything, like, if there's like a galactic empire out there, we are the laughing stock of it.
It reminds me of that really short comic of, like, look, behold, I've invented a robot that screams and can feel pain. And they're like, but why? And he's like, well, and just kind of gets, like, stuck, lost in thought.
Meanwhile, the fucking robot's just screaming in the background.
Yeah, you just see, like, a robot with, like, a face on it, just, ah!
There is a fucking video about that where there's, like, they made AI and put it in a robot and it became self-aware. And it kind of freaked out about its own existence.
Oh, yeah. Like,
And it's a creepy video to watch where it just, you can see it, like, waking up and be like, ah, 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 ah.
I don't think it'll, at least within our lifetime, get to, like, Terminator levels.
Probably not.
But I love seeing how freaked out people get at, like, the slightest suggestion of it.
Y2K.
Oh, look, it's kind of wobbly. Oh my god.
It's turning against us. We're going to be made into batteries.
Boy, I can't...
All right. Prepare to be dipped in goo forever.
Is this my assigned pod? Can I...
Can I just plug myself in? I'm ready. Let's just go.
I'm tired. I want to sleep.
I'm jacking in. Let's go.
I'll adjust to the green tint.
I got the glasses. Don't worry.
I got my cool sunglasses that pinch onto my nose.
Those are awesome.
Dude, I so badly want the phone from... was it...
They made a version of that phone just for the movie.
Right? Dude, I want it so bad because they had a promo thing for Reloaded.
Yeah.
I'm so mad.
The Matrix trilogy, by the way, if this is an interview still, is one of my favorite, if not my favorite trilogy ever made. I love the Matrix movies. I don't care about the flaws. I don't care.
But what about,
Back to the Future?
No, but what about that fourth one? What about the fourth one?
I liked it when I was watching it, and then I watched it again at home because I saw it in theaters because, I'm a Matrix head. I was so excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched it in theaters. I'm like, this is cool. I think I was just excited that I was watching a Matrix movie in theaters because I never got to because I was too young when they were coming out. So, I was born a year before the first one came out. So there was no way I was watching any of them in theaters. I still want to. I still want to see the first one in theaters, and they do that sometimes where they bring them back. But I was just really excited, and I guess I was just happy to see Neo on screen again. But like the entire time, it wasn't even really Neo. Like what I was watching wasn't the Neo we knew.
Right.
So like it kind of that's what I wanted the entire time. Is just like we're not getting Neo. Like I want Neo. I don't care about the rest of the movie. I just want to see Neo again. Like And this wasn't Neo. Lately, Keanu has just been playing Keanu. Like, he hasn't really been playing... Like, the only movie he's been in that isn't Keanu is, like, John Wick, and that's just kind of Keanu with guns. Like,
Slightly
it's
tougher
still,
Keanu Reeves.
It's slightly tougher. Like, Keanu's out of his, like, pure acting phase. He's not, like, into pure acting anymore. Back then, he would method act, like, and he would do it hardcore, like Point Break, Speed, and all that shit. Like, that was him trying to be an actor. And Matrix was a huge part of that. He was Neo. Neo was a character he played, and he played it very well. And Thomas Anderson was a completely different character that he played in the same movie. But it just felt like when he was Thomas, he was also Neo, and it really bothered me because there was no difference. When he was Neo, he was confident. He was he knew he could control the world with just by looking at it. But when he was Thomas Anderson, he was just outside of the Matrix. He was just a dude. He didn't have any intelligence. He was just a guy.
Well, like, that's something that I feel got just a touch brushed over and was reloaded when he, like, shears the city in half trying to rescue Trinity. When he's hauling so much ass that he's, like, tearing apart buildings with the wind.
He is extremely powerful when he's Neo. And even outside of that, he can control machines just by, like, holding his hand. I mean, he went into a coma, but he's still very powerful outside of the Matrix, but he's more just a dude. When he's Neo, he knows he can handle anything.
Yeah. It's just...
I don't know. The fourth movie was a very big disappointment, and I watched it afterwards, and I was like... Because going to the movies elevates the movie. It always does. No matter what you're watching, if it's a shit movie, something will be elevated just by being there. Because it's an experience, and that's why I love the theaters. It's an experience. It elevates everything about it. The food, the smell, the experience, the sound, like everything is. It's an event when you go to the movies. At least for me, because it's one of my favorite places to go. But then you get home and you watch it on your TV, and you're like, and none of the pleasantries are around you. You don't have the candy and the popcorn and the just like the greasy food, and you're like, this movie sucks.
Well, that and like, especially when it's a good movie, it elevates it more that the audience is sharing that interaction with you.
Yeah, Endgame was like one of those experiences where, like, obviously afterwards I still watched it and I loved it, but like in the theaters it was like, it felt like everybody was watching the end of something at the same time.
Dude, I remember like both Endgame at the the big moment.
Yeah.
You hear just everybody in the room just
I remember how quiet it got after Thanos snapped in Infinity War.
Dude,
I remember how quiet the entire theater was silent. It was like ear deafeningly silent.
It's like somebody died in the room.
Yeah, it was so quiet in the theater when Thanos snapped and he went into like the Soul Stone. I was like, bro, I can hear my ears ringing.
Well, I remember walking out of the
theater.
Because
the scene itself is very quiet.
Well, that and walking out of the theater, people were like shell-shocked.
Yeah, it was hard to watch. Everybody you've been watching for years just fucking evaporate. And then at the end of Endgame, at this point, Iron Man dies. I'm not spoiling Endgame. Like it's been years. If you actually enjoyed those movies, you would have seen it by now. Like when Iron Man snaps, I cried in Endgame, but not for when Iron Man died. It was hard to watch, and I was teary-eyed, but I didn't cry. But I did sob later on. I sobbed. And this is a thing that got very overlooked by most people watching the movies, was when Happy was sitting down with Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
And he asked her what he wanted, and she said cheeseburgers. And instantly, like within a millisecond, my mind went straight back to Tony Stark. As soon as he got back, all he wanted was an American cheeseburger from being held captive in the cave in the first movie. And he was like, your dad used to like cheeseburgers. And I'm like, I'm going to fucking die. Like, I lost it. In the theater, I lost it.
For me, it's those character moments of like not the sacrifice itself, but the fallout of it.
Yeah.
So like when Peter's like, "We did it, Mr. Stark," like he's trying to like reassure him.
That part was what got me teary-eyed. Because you knew Peter was hit. It hit him so hard.
Yeah, and then Pepper telling him that he can rest.
Yeah.
Just
like we knew people were gonna die. Like the speculation was one of the big three is gonna die. One of the big three is gonna die. It's gonna be Thor, Captain America, or Iron Man. I was under the impression, and so was a lot of people, that Cap was just gonna exist afterwards because of his contract. That he was gonna have another appearance or two in another movie.
Yeah.
And then he was gonna bow out. But what we got was not what we were told. We were told he had 2 more movies on his contract. But it was a fucking ploy by Marvel to make you think that he was going to be there again. He's not showing up. Cap's gone.
Let's say, or to quote the old Steve Rogers, "No, I don't think I will."
Yeah, there was a whole marketing campaign saying that Steve Rogers would return. Like, he has 2 more movies under his belt, under his contract, and that was a lie by Marvel to get you to think that he was going to be okay. I mean, he was okay. He's fine. He's made it out better than Iron Man did, but we're never going to see him again, and that fucking hurts. Cap was my favorite character. He still is. The first Avenger movie is still and will always be my favorite MCU movie.
And
I adore that movie.
And one of the best tie-in video games out there, too.
Yeah, the video game's not bad. Iron Man also had a decent video game, if I remember correctly, too. The first one did.
The first one was good. The second one got a little jank.
Video game adaptations from movies are always the only good ones are the Spider-Man ones. And the only good one out of those 3 was the second one.
That's fair.
I mean, you had the first one where you couldn't even touch the ground or you'd die. Which was like a thing. They were trying to bring something in from the original games. The second one had the best swinging until Spider-Man PS4. Spider-Man PS4 has the best swinging. But and then the third one was just garbage, and so was the movie. The whole fucking project was garbage.
Wait.
Holy shit. We're almost at 2 hours.
Oh, shit.
Whoa.
Where did the time go?
We kept talking about movies.
It covered cringe, our parents, more cringe.
Oh, no.
What?
Someone just sent me a video.
Oh, no.
I'm not going to say who, because I don't know if they're going to watch this. But they sent me, this is what they verbatim said. Ignore the spelling. Does this sound real to you? I made it with AI. And I can only assume this is an AI narrated story.
Uh-oh.
Not text to speech. AI narrated, which is a huge issue right now.
They're taking your job.
Not just taking my job, they're taking a lot of people's jobs. I mean, people are trying to sign up for audiobooks with them. They're trying to get money for shit they didn't do. Now, I use AI for my thumbnails, but I do not just take a AI image and rip it and just toss text on it. Like, I'm using it mostly for references, and a lot of the time I do it just so I can get a creepy guy, cut him out, manipulate him, put him in a background of my own, and use him. If AI is supposed to be used at all for art, it should be used in referencing and splicing only. But people are just slapping it together and just being like, I did it! And this is a no-no. If this is what I think it is, and he's trying to use AI to narrate horror stories, you don't got my support. That's my job, bro. I'm not, no.
Like, I feel there's an upper limit, not in, like, parroting somebody else's voice, but...
No, but if you're blatantly creating a channel off of AI narrations, you could have there's potential to make money off of it.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that you could, in certain regards, like subsidize workflow, making an AI version of like your own voice.
True, but if you're building a channel strictly off of AI generated narrations, and then you eventually make money off of it, and all you're doing is just feeding a text into an algorithm, it's really it's shitty.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not good enough to do the job, then don't fake your way through it.
Or collaborate, you know?
Yeah.
If you don't
write
know
a story and then have someone else do it.
If you don't know how to do it or don't want to, there will always be somebody you can ask.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't think AI narration is the way through. Don't do that. I think it's a cool tool, but don't just make something. Don't use it as a scapegoat to ease your way through shit.
Yeah.
Don't just like build something, be like, this is mine, I made this. Here you go.
You made this, I made this.
We all made this.
But you know what? We have just crested the 2-hour mark.
I think this is a good place to stop.
Yeah, I say, joke's on you. This entire interview has been AI generated.
Oh no!
No. You're talking to a head in a jar right now. But
Richard Nixon, is that you?
But
what is this headless body of
Agnew, Spiro Agnew.
Agnew? Yeah.
Get him, Agnew. But with that, we'll draw this interview here to a close.
Interview? This was not an interview.
Oh, what's that?
This was not an interview. You asked me like 3 questions in 2 hours.
Oh yeah. No, this is an interview. I've learned a lot in this time.
Yeah. That were fucked up individuals.
Yeah. But TDN, thank you so much for coming on. This has been an absolute blast.
Yeah.
And is there a video that you are particularly fond of on your channel that you'd like to have in the description of this here video?
I would love to plug Mimic because it's something I'm very proud of. I love that. I love that thing, and I can't wait for more to come out about that story.
Absolutely. And wonderful party people at home, thank you so much for sticking around to the end. If you have, please go check out TDN. And
hello.
And
hello.
And with that, this has been Demasked. My name is Fresman, and I'll see all of you next time.
Love you.